Listen, give up trying to be so learned and things will be a lot easier. Is there really any difference between a yes and a no said insincerely? Is there really much of a difference between being angry and pretending not to be? What the people are afraid of, I also need to fear. And what do most people do? They go looking for a good time. They go looking for fool's gold and auspicious gains. Only, you see, I'm lazy, and I don't give a damn about fame or money. I'm like a child who cannot bring himself to smile. This verse stands out to me as being a bit more, having a bit more of an affronting nature to it. There's a skepticism and a almost like an incredulity in the way that this is written, insofar as taking the things normal to society and just sort of rubber stamped in society and kind of turning them on their head. So let's work through it a little bit. And I think a big theme in at least this first verse, or the first sentence of the verse, and maybe a couple of the others, is pursuit. We've talked about this a lot. The pursuit of things, learning more, finding an easier path, going out looking for fool's gold, and trying to find a good time, right? The incessant pursuit of what's my next dopamine hit, what's my next, where's my next laugh going to come from? Where's that next hint of joy that I can obsess over and find a way that I can convince myself it is pursuable and that if only I could put X, Y, and Z in place, that it would be mine. So to me, this is begging the reader to continue to see those things for what they are, for this complete illusion, and that you will find yourself forever on a hamster wheel if you are constantly in pursuit of things that would naturally come to you otherwise. Focusing on the second line, is there really any difference between a yes and a no said insincerely? So, this is sort of the trappings of society and nature. And when you're in a world whereby things are often presented insincerely, you can think about something like clickbait, right? The headline grabbing that goes on. There's a insincerity to that. And so in that way, it doesn't matter if it's praising somebody who you love or praising somebody who you despise. If there's an insincerity in that headline and that clickbait, it's all for naught. It's all just as pointless and mindless as the other. And so finding places in which society, for reasons of who knows what, civility, politeness, what have you, have really kind of taken the sincere nature out of just being straightforward and honest and clear. Those might be places where you can at least see those things for what they are and maybe not get too wrapped up in them, either by pushing against them or by blindly accepting them. What the people are afraid of, I also need to fear. I don't actually take this as a statement. I take this as Lao Tzu saying, you are constantly told people are afraid of this thing. Quick, you should join them. Be afraid. To me, this sentence is not Lao Tzu saying that he is in agreement with this sentence. I think it's his sort of like insincere, sarcastic way of saying, do you not understand? You're constantly being told the herd is doing this thing. Or even if the herd is actually the counter herd, right? There's culture sets up counterculture, sets up subgroup of culture, sets up subgroup of counterculture, so on and so forth. For whatever group you feel that you are a part of or want to be a part of, there's always a sort of a solace found in numbers. So if you can be convinced that all of the people are loving this thing or all of the people are afraid of this thing, then you must also share that same sentiment. I think that this line thrown in the middle of this verse is an insincere sort of staple, saying, this is what I'm talking about. This is the insincerity of a yes and a no that have no difference when they're said insincerely. What do most people do? They go looking for a good time. Again, incessant pursuit. Where can I fit in? Where do I belong? What will provide me some form of hit of dopamine? They go looking for fool's gold and auspicious signs. This is, again, fool's gold is a really nice example of an illusion. It appears to be one thing, it is very much not. And all of these trappings, all of these pursuits, all of this even knowing what you think you should be pursuing, it is all a trap based in an illusion. Last couple of sentences here. I am lazy, and I don't give a damn about fame or money. So, obviously here, find ways to sort of extricate yourself from these things. It's not pushing or forcing against them and saying, I'm going to actively pursue not being famous, actively pursue not getting caught up in greed and want of money. It's more that don't find that that is the purpose for the things that you're doing. Don't do things just so that you think the outcome of those things will be fame or money. Do what you are doing. And if that brings about fame or money, then you will still have the same feeling about them. I don't care. They happened to come along with this thing that I'm otherwise doing anyway. And there's a true sincerity in that. I'm like a child who cannot bring himself to smile. What's sort of the epitome of an image that you have when you think of a child or a baby? It's this joyous play. It's this really intoxicating laughter and joyous smile. And then the opposite of that, too, I think would probably, I don't know if it would be 50-50 if you took a poll, but I think there's another image of babies constantly crying, because that's certainly also a common occurrence. But in this, you find that you are like one thing that doesn't do the thing that is automatically expected. So the expectation that you have of a child who's smiling and finding wonder and exploring everything and has this infectious laughter, if you are of the mind of the sage, there's going to be ways in which you can't find yourself, or you can't find a way for yourself to put on that show. Again, sincerely or insincerely. There is a big difference between the expectation of a child who must smile and the reality of a child who cannot bring himself to smile. It goes back to something that we spoke about in another talk of the double bind. And I will leave you with this. A double bind, as Alan Watts would say, is something that is only acceptable if you do it voluntarily, and you are required to do that. So again, a double bind is that you are required to do something that is only acceptable if you do it voluntarily. You see the issue between the requirement and the volunteerism there, they're at odds. It is a vicious cycle from which you cannot escape. And so this idea, the child must be happy. Children are better seen than not heard. Is that the old saying? And that you must be naturally happy as a child, right? You want to make sure your child's not complaining or causing a ruckus. And so you convince them that they must naturally be happy and smile. You've just inflicted a double bind on them. And that is the epitome of insincere action and thought.